Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 9th grade parent meeting. The reason I have a microphone is we're recording this, so everything that we say and do tonight is going to be posted onto the website. So if you miss something, don't worry about it. It's recorded. All right, folks. We're bringing more chairs in, so you're not going to have to stand the entire night. I see one of our senior class presidents is here, so that's nice to see him. I'm not kidding. One of our former class presidents is here in the audience, and he went to school here and turned out all right. So I remember beginning 9th grade and also beginning 6th grade when as the principal of Eastern Middle School, I used to talk to 6th grade parents because I was in charge of that grade level. And I remember trying to ask the parents to please lower the anxiety, take it easy. They're gonna be fine. And now you've had a whole quarter of 9th grade, and I think we're doing pretty good. The marking period ends on Friday, and you've been able to see grades all along. So that none of the grading stuff should be a surprise to any of you. We are working hard here at Greenwich High School to improve this facility, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. But I also wanted to talk and hear from you about how you think the transition went and what we could do better. And we may not be able to get that entire conversation in tonight, but you can always email me your thoughts, because I'm always looking to make the transition better, whether it's going from 5 to 6 or 8 to 9. It doesn't matter. It's a big transition. I always think the biggest transition was 5 to 6 because the students had to learn how to change classes, change teachers, and all that. So they're pretty much used to it by the time they get to the high school. But it is a big place. And as I said, if you have any ideas on how we can make the transition from 8 to 9 better and improve it, we're always open to new ideas. Some of the stuff that we're doing here at the high school right now in terms of facilities, which is something that we've been working on for a long time. Field 3 behind the building is now being remediated and should be ready by mid-spring. So our teams will be able to actually play and practice on that field. Some of you are very new to Greenwich High School, and I'm not new to Greenwich High School, but I'm returning after a few years' absence. Not this year, but let me explain that. I was here for 26 years before I went to become the principal at Eastern Middle School. And then someone called and said, hey, would you like to be superintendent? And I should have called Bill right then and said, yeah, no. But I took the job, and I was there for a year as superintendent. And then 3 years ago, I came back to my home, which is Greenwich High School, which is a great thing to do. So I've been able to have 2 of the jobs that I've always wanted, and now I know this is the one. But anyway, it took me a while to get back here. But some of the things that we're doing, remediation of those fields, it's taken 12 years for us to get to this point where we're almost done. And it doesn't look like a battlefield anymore out there. It looks like beautiful playing fields that'll be available, not just for the students at this high school, but also for the children in the town of Greenwich. We have a beautiful new stadium that is amazing. And we started that 4 years, well, more than 4 years ago, but we started rebuilding, and it's up and running, and it's been a fantastic venue for all of our teams. We're doing some other work on our air conditioning, which is kind of boring, but it's work that has to be done, and it'll be done by the time we get back to the next season, where we have to really cool this building down. You may or may not have noticed, but we had big chillers that we had to rent in the late summer, early fall, just in case it got really hot here. And the district was proactive in doing that so that we wouldn't have to, because we can't open a window, we would have to close school. So that work is ongoing. It's being done. And the district, as always, is spending money on their buildings. one of the things that is going to happen this Thursday is the budget meeting is going to happen this Thursday. So folks, if you can get out to the budget meeting or just log on to see what's going to happen with our operating and capital budget, that would be great. We're also going to break ground out here in front. I'm pointing to it where we're going to break ground. We're going to have a new secure entrance to Greenwich High School, which we haven't had in a long time. So that's going to be built, and we're going to be breaking ground in June. So all those things are going on. I'm going to, of Christina Shaw, who's going to talk about one of our unique programs, and I'm going to head over to the 12th grade meeting, but I'll be back. Okay?
We're actually going to hear from the PTA first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Doreen, sorry. You got it. It's all yours.
Thank you.
I'll be back.
Welcome. I hope the transition to high school is going well. And I mean you, not necessarily your students, because I know it's just as much of an adjustment for you as it is for your students. My name is Min Kim. I'm the VP of Parent Education for the Greenwich High School PTA. And it's my job to help you, help your students find the resources and the information they need to succeed in high school. So first and foremost, what I want to tell you is that you're in great hands with Ralph Mayo, the administrators, and all the teachers at Greenwich High School who really go out of their way and do an amazing job to help your students in every way possible. We, the PTA, we're here to help you, help your students succeed throughout high school. So if you have not joined the PTA, please do so. We have an incredible number of volunteers that work tirelessly to advocate for our students. And if you have the time, please do volunteer your time. But if you don't, just joining and paying the dues is just as important, because we do a lot of incredible things here for our students. Just to tell you a few things that we do a ton of curriculum enrichment work, which helps teachers provide a ton of great activities outside of school, specialized projects, whatnot, that they would otherwise not be able to do in class alone. We provide outreach, so students who may not be able to pay for prom tickets or calculators or for whatever it is that might inhibit them from having the real high school experience that every student should experience. We're there to support them. We do a lot around college admissions process, right? We help with college fair, helping the college reps, et cetera. We do help with the capital projects, the amazing Wi-Fi that you're all enjoying outdoors. That's courtesy of us, the PTA. The picnic tables where the students get to enjoy socializing. We've also purchased large TVs, et cetera. We host parent education panels and talks, so definitely be on the lookout for the PTA meetings coming up. Definitely go and look at the parent survival guide that the PTA has put together. That will answer 95% of your questions. If you have any other questions, please contact me anytime. And at this point, without much ado, I'd love for you to meet Doreen, who is the 9th grade parent rep, who's here to answer and be your liaison.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. I'm Doreen. I'm going to make this short and quick. I know how valuable everyone's time is. So I am here for any questions, comments, concerns, anything. Please email me. I will get you the answers from the beautiful PTA here. And please, if you haven't joined the PTA, it's the best thing for our children. It's what we need. So that's it. Min, thank you. You could always email me at dorconti@gmail or the 9th grade rep email. Thank you.
Okay, I guess I'll go next.
You want to go next?
I don't know if this works or not.
It's not. I don't think it is.
So I'm going to put it down. Yeah? Okay. Then I suppose I will hold it. Let me start by saying I'm Christina Shaw. I'm Cantor House Administrator, as you already know. We're separated into 5 houses, and so I'm here to represent the house administrators and welcome you on their behalf. I do want to say this is the 9th grade parent event. So if you are a 12th grade parent, you want to go across the hall. So I was asked to make that announcement. So I'm here to talk a little bit about a program that is available to 9th grade and 10th grade students known as Innovation Lab. When you were an 8th grade parent and you were transitioning, I'm sure you've already heard about it. The reason why I'm going to reacquaint you with the program is that for the first time in several years, due to the pandemic and the fact that many parents did not have as much information as they may have had in the past, and students as well, we are going to allow students to apply for Innovation Lab at the semester mark. So that's something new, and so that's why I wanted to just say a few words about Innovation Lab. First and foremost, if you are wondering, I'm sorry, I'm getting old, so now I can't see you and my paper at the same time, so bear with me. Okay. If you have a student who is particularly curious about projects, a dynamic learner who may thrive in collaboration, InLab might be the right environment for your child. We like to say that InLab could be for anyone, really, but it's not necessarily for everyone. So right now, we're offering for 9th grade students Innovation Lab Humanities, and that blends the English and the the history disciplines to create a rigorous interdisciplinary experience for our students. It would be a project-based approach to the core academics. So our students would learn the same academic material that any student in any other 9th grade English and history class would be learning. The difference is, though, that in Innovation Lab, the focus would be for students to work together as a community. And in that regard, they connect their learning across the subjects. So the focus really is on that interdisciplinary nature and to get students to pursue their passions through that collaboration with each other. You may have seen some of our student work at the Bruce Museum. We do have exhibitions yearly. And also, the Greenwich Alliance displays our work at their events. If you or your child are intrigued by Innovation Lab or just want to learn more about the program, you could go to our website, ghsinnovationlab.com, and there we have not only information about the programs, we have student testimonials, sample projects, the application process, and more. So you can also just email me, Christina Shaw, and all of our emails here in Greenwich end the same way. But I have cards if you really are interested at the end. I'll just give you my card. And also our program associate of the program's name is Courtney Hawes. So again, it was a pleasure to see you all and welcome to our high school. It really is a special place. And the PTA really is one of the reasons, in my opinion, that this school and this community is so special. The teachers all know, and the administrators, that we really are a team with the parents. And so I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Please reach out to your administrator. We want you to call us. We want you to participate in your child's education, because that's how we can all work together to make a bright future for your student. Okay, so thank you. I'm going to introduce Karen Foster to you now, who is going to present
student activity stuff.
lots of student activity stuff, which is really important for 9th grade.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. So again, my name is Karen Foster. I'm the Director of Student Activities, and I am located right off of the Student Center next to the Cardinal Cafe. I want to talk to you a little bit about some information or some things that the students might not know about as freshmen. So I'm going to show you a little bit on the website. I'm not going to do too much here, but I just want to point out a couple important places. The website is great, but it is enormous. So I just want to point out a couple things. So right on the very front page of our website, oh, hello. If you go down here, you'll see the bulletin. This is our daily bulletin, and on it, it has, let's see, So it'll tell you the day, it'll tell you what day we are, it tells you the schedule. So today we had a special schedule because it was advisor based. So it gives all the students what block it is, what time it is, the lunch schedule, who goes to what lunch, when the bells are going to ring, looking for a job or to volunteer. And I'm going to talk about this in a second. This information is here, but I'm also going to show you where else you can find it on the website, because I get a lot of questions about volunteering. Do you have to volunteer? Where can you volunteer? And stuff like that. Again, this has athletic information, information about clubs, which I'm going to talk about in a second. It talks about the lunch for if your student comes on the bus late. So it just has announcements. So this is a really good resource for everybody to have. Some of the kids I know have it on their phones, like just bookmarked on their phones as a quick place if they don't know what day it is, or what the schedule is and stuff like that. So that's one really important resource, both as parents and for the students. The other thing that I want to talk to or show you is if you are on the home page and you go to student life, everything from my office is under student life. So there's a couple things. If you go down to clubs and activities, because I always get lots of questions, how can my child get involved? What are they going to do? So one of the things is we have over 100 clubs at the school. And I have a stack of applications for new clubs on my desk as we speak. So there's a couple different ways. You can click here for a whole club list. And it's a little bulky, but it has all the information. It tells you the club name, the advisor's name, the student leaders' names, and it also will tell you where the clubs meet, when they meet, where they meet, and what time that they meet. Some clubs meet before school, some clubs meet during flex block, some clubs meet after school. And then there's also, you can also, if you scroll down, you can also choose a category. And then, so if I do school community spirit, and we click on that, then you'll get a list of a bunch of different things. Oh, that one didn't work. Let's see if I do service volunteer. It'll tell you all the clubs that we have that do service and volunteer hours. So that's one part of it. The other part that I want to show you is under student employment and volunteer opportunities. Again, I get a lot of questions about volunteering. So there's two different sections about volunteering. One, the PTA so graciously put together this giant list of organizations in our area, in Greenwich and the surrounding area, that are looking for volunteers 12 months out of the year. Neighbor to Neighbor, Sanford Nature Center, et cetera, et cetera. So those are listed where it says community service and volunteer opportunities compiled by the GHS PTA. The second list that we've created is a one-time volunteer opportunities. So this I've actually emailed out to the students 3 times so far this year. So what you'll see here is it's just different things that they can volunteer for. So for right now, the Greenwich Alliance is looking for volunteers for the Turkey Trot. The Junior League is looking for stuff for their Enchanted Forest. What I've done is when I've emailed the students, I've said to them, if you want to get reminders of when this is updated, follow these 4 steps. So they don't have to keep looking back on the website and say, is there something new? This information was actually emailed out to all the parents and guardians as well, or back in September. But again, I've emailed it. The last time was last night. I emailed it to the students. So those are my 3 big points that I want to point out about the website, because I get tons of questions on that. The other thing is student government. So we did have our elections for freshman class officers, and each AB, advisor base, for each grade has a student rep. Even if your child would still like to get involved in student government, but they're not a class officer or they're not an advisor base rep, we do have ad hoc committees that they are more than welcome to join. So again, all that stuff is sent out in emails, and it's put on announcements, and it's put on the monitors that are up around the school. So if that's something that they'd be interested in, tell them to keep an eye out for that. Pictures. So the pictures were almost all passed out. I think I have 3 more freshmen that need to come pick up their pictures. I do still have a stack of proof. So the proof is the sample picture. If you'd still like to order, you can do that. The retakes will be November 14th. If you did order a picture package, they return the picture package and bring $5, and they will update the picture. If you missed it and they missed picture day the first week we had it, they can take it again or they can take it for the first time on November 14th. Again, more emails will come out about that. Yearbooks, I know it sounds early, but we order your yearbook by December 16th to make sure that you can have one, that you're guaranteed one. Any orders placed after that, it's come on a first come, first served basis because we print a lot of them, so they have to place their order right at the end of December. You can, if you go online here, let's see. So if we go to Student Life and we go to Student Activities, oh, hold on. I can't do this left-handed. Oh, hold on. I went too far. Where's the yearbook? Oh, here we go. Compass Yearbook. And it brings you to the link if you'd like to purchase a yearbook. It's yearbookforever.com. If you don't remember if you order one, you can actually go to yearbookforever.com. It says don't remember. Just click here and you can put in your email address. The one other thing that I'm going to put a plug for, which is going to help you guys along the way for 4 years. If you do not already have a My School Bucks account, please consider making one. It's a free account, and basically, so when we do things such as the freshman class trip that's going to be in the spring, the proms, I'm trying to think of what else, random things that we will do throughout the year. If the freshmen decide to do spirit wear for themselves, those are always done through My School Bucks. That's how you pay for them. If you have an account, you can always go back and check your prior purchases. If you don't have an account, then it's harder for you to track if you did it or haven't done it yet. Okay, so because I get a lot of emails, I don't remember if I did it or not, but I don't have an account. I checked out as a guest. So I would encourage you, if this is your method of payment, it's the same for the lunch accounts. It's that same account, but the lunch accounts are separate from if we want to do something for, like, for example, if you're signing your child up for the freshman trip that's in the spring, you can't use the money from the lunch account in that. So it would help you to have one. If you already have a lunch account, it's the same one. Like if you already have a My School Bucks login, it's the same login. But if you don't already have one, I would suggest doing it because we do a lot of things in the school through My School Bucks, so it'll help you. Any questions? My School Bucks. I'll send out an email about it too. So My School Bucks, so the lunch account is also through My School Bucks. So if you already have an account through there, then you're good to go. You can go in and log in. Like I send out links for stuff like that. So it's the same one if you already have My School Bucks.
But we still have to do a different, we have to have a different funds for it?
So just if you have a My School Bucks account and you already put money in for your child's lunch account, that money is separate from if you want to pay for the freshman field trip at the end of the year. You know, so you can't use money that you put into their lunch account to pay for the. So it's all under the same umbrella of My School Bucks, but the lunch account doesn't talk to the other, to like if I send out a link for the freshman field trip. Exactly. It's actually under, if you go to food services, that's where it is. But I'll send out a link to you guys all separately about it. I'll send you guys an email. Any other questions for me before I go next door?
Community hours. Is it 20 hours or 65?
So the National Honor Society, does anyone know what the hours are this year? 20? 45? I know. I forget, because the National Honor Society, it's because of COVID. That's why I don't know what it is right now. It's 40, but then I think they put it down to 20, and I don't know if it went up. Yeah, it's on the website.
Yeah, but is that for 9th grade or for the whole 12th? No, that's not until junior, senior.
Right. But sometimes students need them for a variety of reasons. You know, they might need it for something outside of school, but this is a good resource for it. All right. Are they up next? All right.
They weren't on the agenda, but I thought I'd bring them in.
All right.
Folks, I just wanted to introduce you to our current student government president, Isabella Gaga, and our current senior class president, Jamie Smith, this is what your kids are going to look like in 4 years. I'm joking, but it's yes, they are. They are going to be they're going to look like this. They're going to be ready to go. Both of them are. Well, I don't know if they're both ready to go yet, but they've completed the initial round of applications and starting to wait to hear from different colleges. But I'll let them say hi.
Hi, everyone. We weren't supposed to speak, so I'll see what I have to say.
Talk about your 4 years.
Well, obviously, I love Greenwich High School, so I wouldn't be in this position if I didn't. So, freshman year obviously is a whirlwind. My advice is to support your kids as best as you can. Get as involved as you can. I think that's the best way to make friends. Obviously, build a resume for college apps in 4 years. Means to be part of a community as big as this. So, obviously, it's a great school. I don't think you could have been in any better hands than Mr. Mayo and everyone around you. So, kudos to everyone here, and obviously be very excited for the year. You can be a little nervous, but they're in good hands, I promise.
Like Giga said, it is definitely a big place. I still remember looking for a class in the D wing for about 2 blocks straight my freshman year. But exactly what she said, the best way to get involved and get into the culture here is to just meet a lot of friends. And the best way to do that is with clubs, to meet new people that you never would have met outside of them. Yes, that does have something to do with your resume in hindsight at our point. But I think it's more just a great way to meet more people, meet upperclassmen. Because I had a brother, so I had some things figured out going into high school, but definitely not a lot. But joining into clubs and getting involved is a great way to meet upperclassmen, because there's so many things in the school that just teachers may not know and teachers may not relate to you in that way. But upperclassmen will definitely provide that guidance.
Yeah, I think what the two of them are saying is, the sooner. Yes, you should. They're both varsity athletes. They're both on the honor society students. They are both quite amazing individuals. So yeah, they deserve a hand. But school connectedness. All the research says if your child's connected to school, they will do well. So here's the examples of two individuals. Well, they're way too connected, actually. For my, they're playing multiple sports. They're doing service to the community. They're on multiple committees. It's like, hey guys, But I don't know when they sleep. I just don't know when they sleep. But they do very well in school because they're connected to Greenwich High School. So thank you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. So our next speaker is one of our school. We have 2 school resource officers here at Greenwich High School. They are Greenwich Police Department officers. They are in full uniform every day that they come into, because they're coming to work. Yes, they carry a weapon, but that's part of their uniform, and they help keep us safe. But they also work with our students to give them advice. They teach in the health classes. They do a lot of things around here, and I wish I could have 3 or more school resource officers, but I have 2, and we'll work on the 3rd one. Right now, we're in the process of getting a therapy dog to come in to help relieve some of the stress that goes along with being in a high-powered academic setting like Greenwich High School is. So, and Mr. Wallace Officer Wallace is spearheading that effort. So he's just more than, as he says, the better looking of the 2 SROs. So here he is without further ado. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Mayo. Hi, everyone. How are you doing tonight? So my name's Officer Chris Wallace. The kids call me Officer Wally. Just a little bit of background about me. I've been a police officer now for 10 years here in Greenwich. I've done everything. I was in patrol before this. So I was like, if you called 911 or called the department, I would be the officer showing up. I got promoted during that time. I was a field training officer, so I would train new officers. I worked undercover. I've kind of done everything. But this is by far the most rewarding job I've ever had. I love it. Getting to come here every day, working with the kids is tremendous, and I love it. And I'm lucky to work in this district and work for the Greenwich Police Department because they take the role of a school resource officer very seriously. It's not like some other places where they'll take a guy who's about to retire and just throw him in the school and be like, all right, have fun. I actually had to go through a process to get selected through my command staff. So both me and my partner had to be interviewed by our command staff to be here. My partner's name, by the way, he couldn't be here tonight. His wife is expecting a baby. He's Officer Fred Reich. Him and I are totally dedicated to the school here. But like I was saying, I'm very lucky to work in this district because they take it very seriously. I went to 2 week-long trainings learning about how to work with kids because working with kids is way different than working with adults. So being here is my second full year here, and we really have 3 roles. Mr. Mayo kind of touched on them. One, and one of the most important, is making sure this building and all of your children are safe every day. There's always one of us here every day, all day. I see your kids more than I see my fellow officers at GPD. So that's one thing you can know. There's always one of us here every single day. The second thing we do is we're role models, or try and be role models and like advisors to your children. And we do that by really throwing ourselves fully into the school. We're at every school event. Like, for instance, I'm here tonight. I was at the homecoming dance. We're at prom. We're at graduation. We're at football games. We're at a bunch of different things. And besides that, too, we're both coaches here at the high school. I coach girls track. I'm an assistant coach. And my partner's assistant coach for wrestling. So that's another way that the kids get to know us. Because some of them might not call me Officer Wally or Wally, they'll call me Coach Wally. So it's a great way to get involved here with the kids. And lastly, we are law enforcement officers. However, we operate a little bit differently than we did if we're dealing with an adult. Because it's a little bit black and white there. It's either, you broke the law, you get arrested. However, when we work with kids, if a kid did break the law, we don't necessarily need to arrest them. What we really look at is how can we fix that mistake? What's going on at home? What's going on in that kid's social life? How can we fix that problem? It's not about punishing that kid. It's about fixing that problem now so it doesn't become a bigger problem when they're older. And we have a lot of different ways we can do that. We can have a mediation with that kid where we might sit down with the child, parents, and talk about what happened. How can we fix this? How can we prevent it from happening again? We also have something called the Juvenile Review Board, which basically this child would meet with my boss, a few other members of the community. They would discuss the incident, and then they would come up with a contract. And that contract can have anything on it, do chores around home, volunteer work. Wherever we feel can help that child succeed in the future and not let that mistake happen again, we can put on that contract, set it for a duration of time, and as long as they follow that contract, it's like whatever they did goes away. And then lastly, we may have to refer a child to court. That's the last thing we want to do. I never, ever want to arrest a kid. However, sometimes that is what happens. If that does happen, we don't put kids in handcuffs. That's not what we do. They get a piece of paper. It's like a promise to appear in court. They go before a judge and talk to them about it. Like I said, that's the last thing we ever want to do. We always try and want to mediate that problem so we can get that kid back on the right path. Again, I have business cards, so if anyone wants to grab that before they leave, I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have. But again, I'm really grateful for this job. One story I like to tell everyone, last year was my first year here. So working with kids, before I came here, I was undercover. So that was a big shift. And so as the year progressed, working with the kids, it was great. And I realized, wow, I love this job. Like, I can see myself finishing my career in this role. Like a sergeant's exam's coming up. There's no way I'm taking that because I want to stay here in the school. But so getting to know the kids, being their coach for a season, and even just being at the football games, the basketball games, getting to know everyone. At graduation last year, we had a line of probably 40 to 50 kids wanting to take their picture with us when they graduated. So that was definitely the most rewarding thing I've done in my career. So I'm happy to be here, happy to answer any questions that you may have. If not, and you want my business card, please come find me at the end of this, and I'll be happy to help you out. Yes.
First of all, thank you. We all appreciate everything you said and what you guys are doing. My question is more for you or Mr. Mayo. When my daughter, and I'm sure other people have the same issue, or wife, are here at the school, and I'm trying to reach reach them, or I feel like, heaven forbid, there was ever an emergency at the school.
Mhm.
The Wi-Fi and the phone service is really bad, and I often worry that if there was ever some sort of school scenario and all the kids or whoever's trying to reach their parents or the police or whatever, how do we, like, I don't get service when I'm here. I know my daughter doesn't have service when here. My wife drops my daughter off at school. I can never reach her. What would happen if there was a scenario that we needed to use our cell phones?
That's a very good question. So that's a little bit above me. I know since I've been here in the last year, cell phone service has improved a little bit here. It's still not great by no means. And we, as the PTA mentioned, we are working on our Wi-Fi service here, and we're also working with our director of school security, providing some sort of mass messaging system. So if there is an emergency, we can give a clear, direct message about what the emergency is and how we're dealing with it here at the school.
There was some sort of tragedy going on right now. I don't know who could make a call. I can't.
I have the answer to that. I'm the tech person, one of the tech people. Make sure your phones have Wi-Fi calling. If you have your phone on Wi-Fi calling, you have access to the Wi-Fi.
So what's the Wi-Fi?
No,
I know, but like, I'm putting mine on Wi-Fi. What is the
it's
Wi-Fi?
Wi-Fi calling. It's a setting within your phone to make Wi-Fi calls.
I have to be connected to a Wi-Fi network to use Wi-Fi calling.
GHS guest, and it asks for a password. Yeah, here.
Oh, the password is GPS Wi-Fi 1.
And that's under GHS guest or?
Yep, yes.
So what's the password?
GPS Wi-Fi 1. So the password's GPS Wi-Fi 1. Maybe what we'll do is I'll have maybe Ms. Foster put that in an email for the parents so you all have it. So going forward, if you come here, you're connected to the Wi-Fi. One last thing I forgot to mention. I'll wait till everyone gets that password.
I know, the kids will believe me, the kids don't have it. Don't worry.
Okay, now I'm on.
Yes, I just want to briefly touch on the, Mr. Mayo brought up the therapy dog. I'm just going to briefly touch on that, so hopefully I can gain some more support behind the idea. So when I was in SRO school, there was an officer there from Massachusetts. He was another school resource officer. And he mentioned how he got a therapy dog. And I started thinking about it, and after working in a school and seeing how much of mental health we deal with, I was like, that would be a fantastic idea here. So I brought in a dog from Yale PD. Her name's Officer Heidi, and her handler is Officer Simons. And he was talking about how she kind of came around when the George Floyd news was going in, and police weren't very liked, especially at a university like Yale. He brought that dog in, and it completely changed how the student body there and the staff there saw the police department. That dog doesn't bite, doesn't search for drugs. It's just there as a therapy and comfort dog. So I reached out to him, and he actually brought Heidi down. Heidi's been here 4 times. She was just here on Halloween. She was dressed up as a princess. It was very cute. And it was tremendous. So I've been trying to convince my department that we need this. The organization that she would come from is called Puppies Behind Bars. The dog basically works with a prisoner and has 10,000 hours of training. Then I would go get taught by the prisoner how to handle the dog. It's a very cool concept. So the dog would be free, and I've talked to our PTA about it. PTA has set aside funds to fully fund everything. A car for me to have, food, vet, everything would be fully funded with the PTA. I just need to convince my department. So, but I didn't tell you that. So, yes, that's something we are working on. So hopefully that can happen. I can't make any promises because, again, that has to come from way above me, but it's something we're working on. And we're going to try and keep bringing a therapy dog here as much as we can because you should see the reaction she gets when she comes here. it's like the Beatles are here. So it's really good. One last thing I'll close with, that I always close with when I talk to the kids, is follow us on Instagram. We do have our own Instagram. We're always posting things about like sporting events, or if the theater's having something, if band's having something coming up. Again, just a way we can connect with the kids. Our Instagram is Greenwich_PD_SRO. Give us a follow. We started with like 100 follows. Now we're over like 1,000. So we're doing well. Again, nothing makes me happier than being here every day working with your kids. Thank you for that. And again, if you have any questions or concerns, my email is christopher.wallace@greenwichct.org. Feel free to email me, and I will, if I don't know the answer, I'll find someone who can give you that answer, okay? So what we would get, Puppies Behind Bars does labs, black and yellow labs. They're all bred from that organization. Again, it may take me a couple years to get this dog, but I'm gonna keep trying because I've seen the benefit it has with not just students, but with staff as well. So again, I'm here for all of you, all of your children. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to help you in any way, all right?
Is there any email we can send anybody about that?
I'm trying to answer that without me getting in trouble. You could maybe talk to the PTA, email me, and we. Yeah, so I would talk with your PTA. You can reach out to me. I don't want to say email my chief because then I might not be your SRO anymore. So, yeah, just email me, talk to your PTA. The more support we can get behind this, I think we can make it happen. But in the meantime, we'll keep bringing Heidi down to visit with the kids, and we'll do everything we can to make your child have the best time they can here at GHS. And if your daughter's interested in running indoor or outdoor track, let her know I'm one of the coaches. That's my shameless plug. Thank you all very much. It was very nice being here tonight.
I want to thank Officer Wallace for that phenomenal introduction. My name is Mr. Pereira. I'm your Dean of Student Life. I've been here for 3 years. Just to address the safety question, rest assured that we have policies and protocols that allow us to directly contact emergency services when necessary. A couple things that have been added. One, our radios are now on the town-wide system, so they're not just closed circuit for the school. So if there is an emergency, believe it or not, some of the police scanners can pick up our radio transmissions. There's a magic orange button on that thing. If you hit the orange button, they're sending the cavalry plus the cavalry to the high school. Obviously, we have 2 SROs, at least one in the building at all times, so they have direct contact to dispatch for it. If we go into lockdown, everybody is notified. So I know it's not as comforting you like to hear if you want to hear from your kids directly, but we've put a number of things in place to ensure the safety and security of all. You guys trust us with your kids. You give us from 8:30 in the morning till whenever they go home your trust, and as a new parent of a 5-month-old, it's going to be tough for me to do that too. But I understand. I've been in the school system for 18 years, and I appreciate that you guys trust us with your children. So I just wanted to address that before I get into my quick spiel, since Officer Wallace, that was impressive, by the way, buddy. That's a lot of words for. You did a good job, you know. I saw him grew in the first parent meeting. It was pretty quick. I mean, he went right to the whole spiel with the dog and everything. Well done. Well done. Oh, you did an Instagram blog too? Oh, of course you did. So, as you transition to the high school, obviously we're pretty big. We've got 2,800 kids here. All right, the Office of Student Life is something that's special to the high school. I work directly with Ms. Foster, our 5 assistant deans. Each house has an assistant dean. In Bella House, there's Mr. Costello. In Clark House, Ms. Gillerin. In Cantor House, there's Ms. Mistretta. In Sheldon House, there is Ms. Chiappetta. And in Folsom House, there's Ms. Boyd. We are your links to if your child is having issues in class, if you feel that there's some sort of behaviors that are going on that are detrimental to your child, whether they are partaking in those behaviors or they're a victim of those behaviors. Reach out to those assistant deans. That's what we are here for. We help with behaviors, we help with attendance, and we look at it holistically too within the office. So not only do we address individuals, we try to put things in place for the whole school. So for example, in March, we're going to bring back an assembly here that we haven't had in quite some time due to COVID from the Anti-Defamation League called Names Really Hurt Us. So they come in and they do a whole breakout session with particularly our freshmen in terms of being an ally and things like that. So that's a lot of the things that we do in the Office of Student Life. In addition to what Ms. Foster was talking about, we deal with parking, so a whole bunch of stuff. So if you have any thoughts that you don't know who to go to, my first inclination is reach out to your house assistant dean. If they can't get you, they'll get you in contact with the individual who can get you those answers. We also put together things called Advisor Base. So that meets roughly about once or twice a month, where we put together a number of different lessons for kids in terms of community building, particularly for freshmen transition. They get updates from the mass meetings from student government. So we try to hear from our kids and try to implement what they're looking for in terms of a school, because that's our clientele. Our clientele is our students. There's flex time. That's that half hour at the end of the day. All right, so we've kind of revamped that half hour a couple different ways. And the nice thing about flex time, and this is the second district I worked in, I was in Stanford for about 15 years, it's built in extra help with your child's student every day. You know, when I was a teacher, it was a struggle to get kids to stay after. You know, they want to catch the bus, they want to go home, and I get that. You know, and I want to make sure that they're being as academically achievable as possible, but we've built that within the day for those kids. So they don't have to worry about missing the bus because we got that half hour. And we've built that half hour so they're going to see their kids at least once a cycle. If their grades drop below a C-, then they might see them more than once a cycle because they're going to be locked in there. Flex time also gives them an opportunity to try different clubs and things like that. So it's a unique thing that is unique to Greenwich High School. Not a lot of high schools have that, that opportunity for it. So I know we're kind of running a little bit late, and I know Ms. Dempsey's got very, very important things to talk about in terms of Aspen and Schoology and you guys as parents in terms of the technology piece. But my biggest piece of advice is use the supports that we have in the school. The house teams are excellent. Reach out to them. If they don't have the answers, we'll get you connected. In addition to the house teams, we have a number of community agencies that come in and also support our kids. So you're not alone in this transition to this 2,800 child institution. You got a number of individuals who are going to help you. We're going to support you, and we're all in this together, obviously, for the betterment of your children. Thank you. I tried to get you in there, Lisa.
You got it in.
I know.
Welcome. I'm Lisa Dempsey. I am the head of the business department, but I'm also one of the technology coaches here at the high school. I teach 2 business courses. I teach marketing and personal finance, but I'm also the trainer for the staff of how to use Aspen and Schoology. So I'm going to give you a brief overview about what they look like. I believe their handouts came out. We're passed out. If we didn't get any, I think over here we need a few over here. So I'm going to do the best I can to hold the mic and do the mouse and everything else in between. So I'm going to start off with Aspen. I will actually go back to the login page. So first of all, before I start off, all of this information that's on the front page, the longer side of the document, is directly off the Greenwich Schools website. So when we take a look, let me get to there. Did everybody get the Wi-Fi working on your phones?
Yes, thank you.
So with the Greenwich, this is again the Greenwich Schools website, and if you're under departments, and you can take a look at where we are for information technology, and the parent portals is what we are taking a look at today. And again, so when we take a look at the student information system is where we are going to start off. That is Aspen, and that is where your grades and attendance are going to be housed. It also has in there all of your emergency contact information. Please make sure that that is accurate and up to date. So if we do need to reach you, that the correct emails and cell phone numbers are in there. If there is a change, you need to contact your house office, and the admin assistant there will be able to make those changes for you. But please make sure the information in there is accurate. So what is in there is the posted grades from teachers, your access to the report cards once they get printed in a few weeks, your students' attendance of how often they've been on time, late, or not in class, and again, that contact information. So what we're going to take a look at is we'll go to Aspen right now. Oops, here's our login for Aspen. So let me log in. If I could spell student, that would be even better. There's the extra T. Here we go. Now we're in. Okay. So, by the way, if you have any issues with logins, the email you would send to is parent_portal@greenwich.k12.ct.us. That is the email that can help you reset a password. It's not something anybody within this building can help you with. You send an email to parent_portal@greenwich.k12.ct.us, and they will be able to assist you to get a login or to help you reset your passwords. So when you take a look at this front page in Aspen, and this is where I have some things on the back side of that document, the pages is considered the home screen in Aspen. And when you're taking a look and scrolling down on this site, recent activity is really going to give you the most information up front and quickly. When you take a look, it'll have your students, any grades that have been posted, also any attendance issues. So you can have a choice of attendance and grades or both. And then you can take a look. So each of these in blue is what's a hyperlink, and it will take you directly to that assignment and how they did. That's one place to take a look. When you go over into My Info, it was the grade that was posted. The homework is not going to be in Aspen. In Aspen is what has already been graded, and the attendance has been taken. So when you take a look at My Info and My Details, this is where you would verify all of your information, of your contact information, to make sure that it's there, your demographics there, addresses. I love the address they put in for our test students. Figure It Out Drive. And then it would have your student's photo in there as well, and they'll be there. So under the next side over here is the current schedule, which is something that would be very helpful, because this is actually, if you notice, there's a red box. I don't know if you guys could see it in the back, but there's a red box because today was day B. So I have students in my class that say, I'm texting my mom. And I'm like, tell mom I said hello. Because when you're in my class, you should not be texting your students. So if you want to know if they have an open or lunch or wherever they may be, this is going to tell you at that time what class they are specifically in, given any time. The attendance is the other component of it to be able to take a look. This is... And I'm trying to see, all of our records for our student will give us what the attendance is for that student for the daily attendance. When we click into details on the attendance, it'll give you whether they were absent, whether it was excused or not excused, but that information will be there for your student as well. So when you take a look, what's the next one? Under academics, the academics tab up top, notice that each page that I click on, each tab, the side tabs will change. So it will, depending on what top tab you're in, the side tabs change as well. This would be all of their courses, and this is their performance up to this point in time for the current term, which is right now marking period 1. To take a look at, so let's see how they're doing in my marketing class. So one thing I want to point out on this, and this gets a little tricky for some people to understand, is that we use weighted grades in this course, in all of our courses, meaning that there's categories. Not all categories have the same weight. In my class, I put a lot of point value in classwork and being in class and doing the work in class every day. And then there's also the tests and quizzes and any applications that I have. When you take a look at the weighted of the assignments, 40% is classwork, 60% are tests. So the overall gradebook average is there. When you look at the assignments, this is what I really want to point out and stress because it's one thing that I wish I could get Aspen to change, but I can't. Notice that everything gives a percentage out of 100%. Whether that assignment is worth 180 points or whether that assignment is worth 9 points. They freak out when they see not something up very far to those bars at 100%. Look at the point value of the assignments because they are there intentionally because not all assignments are created equal. So don't look at the percentages of the score. Please look at the score, what they got out of that score, total point value, because those percentages screw them up. And it's a 4 out of 5 and it shows that it's 80%. They're like, oh my God, it's an 80%. And I try to tell them it's 1 point. Please don't stress. It's 1 point. Stress when it's not. When it's out of 180 points and it's maybe 60%, yes, then you should worry. But when it's a 4 out of 5 or a 9 out of 10, please don't when you're looking at those grades. Look at the whole picture. Teachers have the ability to add feedback on each assignment. Please take note of what those comments are because a lot of times all they will see is just the grade and not necessarily the comments that are there. In the upper right-hand corner, there's those big black arrows. You can go from class to class from within the academics tab to see how they're doing in each course. So when you're taking a look at this course, notice there's some codes, and there are some universal codes that every teacher uses. NS means not submitted, means they were supposed to turn something in, but they didn't. Notice it says calculates 0 as missing, means they can still turn it in. It's just right now calculating as a 0 because they have not completed the assignment. TBG, even though it says exempt, it just really means to be graded. Teachers have the assignment. We just haven't had a chance to grade all of them as yet, but it means that the teacher has received the assignment. AE, absent, excused, notice it calculates as a 0. It freaks them out, but they were absent. People are sick. We don't want them in the building when they're not feeling well. We would like them just to know that, yes, if you don't make it up, this is what the grade is. So it gives an accurate depiction of where their grades are. There's also sometimes a code of AU, which is unexcused absence, and school policy is when you cut a class, you do not get to make up the work. So we really stress the importance of being in class when they're supposed to be in class, not when they're sick, but when they're supposed to be. So the grades will be reflected of that as well. If you want to see the attendance for a specific course, there is also the attendance on the left tab over here for what the code was of whether they were called out ill, whether they were tardy, whether they were called out for personal business, or if they had to get dismissed early for a sporting event, or any number of things that a student would not be in class for. The attendance for each class is what's posted there as well. The calendar feature I find also super helpful because when you take a look at the calendar feature, you're going to see all of the assignments that your student has from all the courses. It's going to color, I don't know why they chose the color green and blue on these things, but for each course has its own color assigned to it. And when you want to see what work was due, again, this is past because in Aspen it's already been graded. You'll see what was accomplished on each day and what was graded with the due dates all within the calendar feature. And these are again hyperlinks, so if you want to see what it was they did, and you can just double click on the assignment, it's going to take you directly to that assignment as well to give you those details. Any questions on Aspen? I know I went through that pretty quickly, but if there's any questions in Aspen that I can answer before I go on to Schoology. Okay, so I'm going to go on to Schoology then. So when we are going into Schoology, The phone does not look, in the full version, you don't have the calendar tab is not in there?
Yeah,
So your students may have it then. Because I logged in as a student.
okay.
Are you kidding me? Let's try this again. Okay. So when you take a look at Schoology, this is where the homework lies, and this is also where teachers will post what they're doing each day in class. The calendar on the right-hand side is going to give you what is upcoming and what has been done in here. And if you just hover over any of the assignments, it will have the course that the student has that assignment in. I'm going to take you right up top under courses, and this course dashboard will list the classes that your student is in. So I'm just going to go into my marketing class to be able to take a look at what that is. So in my marketing class, you will be able to see all the assignment of what I have posted. So if you go into any of the folders, you would be able to, every teacher's going to set it up a little differently. Your students will obviously know by this point in time, know what it looks like to be able to go in, to be able whether the assignment has been submitted or not. The best feature that I love in Schoology is this calendar feature in Schoology, that you will be able to see what the students have done in the class or with those due dates that are upcoming. So again, if you hover over any one of these, or just these are hyperlinks that will take you to that assignment to be able to see what they've done. Keep in mind that there may not be something posted every day because they are on we meet the students 6 out of every 8 days. So there will probably be every 3 days in a row, and then the class drops, 3 in a row, the class drops. Or my personal finance class is what's considered a 3-time-a-cycle course, which means I meet them 3 out of the 8 days, which some days, most weeks it's no more than 2 a week. Some weeks it's only once a week. So it's very sporadic and very spread out as to when the course meets. But the assignments will be there as well to be able to see what is there, what teachers have posted. And it's also great when someone is out, they can go onto Schoology to be able to see what was done in class that day and try to keep up. Now, again, we understand that when they're home ill, they're probably home ill and not well enough to be here. And if they're not well enough to be here, they probably are not well enough to do some work. So communication with the teachers is absolutely key to be able to do all of this. Questions on Schoology? Yes?
Thank you for taking us through that. My question is about assignments. I can't see the actual assignments because it takes me to Google Classroom that I can't access.
So when teachers are using Google Classroom, you have to be able to be added into that class in Google Classroom to be able to see what those assignments specifically are.
Is it okay to ask the teacher?
Yes. There's a parent view in Google Classroom that you'd be able to see.
So we gotta email each individual teacher?
That uses Google Classroom if that's something that you want to be able to see. You can log in, I believe. The school uses Schoology. Some teachers are using Google Classroom, but there is a parent side to Google Classroom that you can be able to see the announcements and some of the items as well. Any other questions I can help you with? Yes?
Well, I guess I want to, back to Aspen.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of push notifications.
Oh, yes.
And you have that to follow that?
So in order to be able to, you can get an alert. There's alerts that are set up. One of them is how to set grade and attendance notifications. I can take you back there.
Talking about Aspen or
In Aspen.
But I'm a fan of the Fallets app. The students and the parents, I suggest you download the Fallets app.
Yes.
And you can log in, or then once you set that up, you don't even have to go to Aspen. It'll send you all the scores.
It will do that.
And it's kind of cool. It also does the weighted average grade for that, or the average grade for that term as well.
Right. So when you're in Aspen, the one thing I like to see is look at the whole picture at once, because sometimes the notifications, please don't set the notification at 95. They're under enough stress that they don't need to see it. Attendance, if they're not going to class, yeah, I probably want to know that. but we've got to, right now they're still, especially ninth graders, we're the first full year of like, I don't want to call it real school, but the first time they are back and they're in a high school and they're looking at a very different landscape than what they've been at. So just, they need some time to adjust and understand what the new expectations are at a high school level. And we're here to work with them to be able to help them through that. But please don't make them overly stressed about that. Yes? Yes, there's a parent login as well for that. Absolutely. Any other questions?
What app did he say?
It's just the Aspen. You can download Aspen as an app to be able to do that. Follett is the company that owns it. Follet.
And that is for
That's Aspen.
and school?
No, Schoology is a separate item.
Have an app.
No. Well, there is an app, but it's not going to give you the push notifications because there's no grades in Schoology.
Yeah, but what's the app for Schoology?
Just yeah, but it's not going to give you really because there's no notifications that are going to come out of Schoology. But when a student can just say pull up Schoology, let me see what it is, and they will be able to. You can follow up from there. Any other questions? All right, Mr. Mayo, you want to close it out?
Well, thanks, folks. Thanks for your patience. I know it was a long presentation tonight, a lot of information. One of the reasons we recorded it so you can go back if you want to, and if there's something you missed, please go back. It'll be up on the website. Give us a couple days, and it will be there. Just another word of advice from someone that had 4 children go through here and has watched multiple children graduate from this great high school. Have your child, even as a 9th grader, make an appointment with their guidance counselor. Go see their counselor. Start developing that relationship, because that's the person that's going to be guiding them through the 4 years of high school, but also discussing colleges with them. The better they get to know your child, the better they're going to be able to make a better decision on where your child should probably be applying to. So make an appointment. Get connected, make an appointment with your counselor. That's all I have for you. Go ahead.
So what, for example, in Folsom House, what's the difference between Barbara Gong and Mrs. Boyd?
Mrs. Boyd is the assistant dean, and Mrs. Gong is a guidance counselor, a school counselor, I'm sorry.
Okay, so should they be
School counselor.
school dean with their...
No, they don't need, the only time they're going to see the dean is if they're in trouble. Yeah, so you don't want to see the dean. The deans also are highly involved. I'll take it back. They're also highly involved in all the positive behavior intervention supports that we have here at Greenwich High School. So they organized a whole bunch of stuff before Halloween, a pumpkin decorating contest, all kinds of stuff that they have brought to the school to get our students more connected to our school. But seriously, the deans are for a couple issues, but Barbara Gong is the person that he wants to make an appointment with. Okay? Well, thank you all. Have a great night.